This is God's perspective on emotional distress and suicide ideation in His word in 1 Kings 19. Just after Elijah had a great victory over Baal prophets and saw his prayer for rain answered, Queen Jezebel threatened his life. It made him run away to the desert and desire to die. Elijah was feeling like he wasn't good enough and that he had terribly failed in his life and mission. God's response was to send an angel to give Elijah food, water, and rest twice because the journey was too much for him. Those needs were fulfilled with God's own hands. Commentators mostly agreed the angel attending to Elijah represented an Old Testament appearance of Christ himself. Jesus touched Elijah. He didn't need to, but he knew it would be soothing to him. He made him a fresh breakfast, and he even placed the food near Elijah's head so he wouldn't have to move too far to reach it. Christ stayed with Elijah and fed him twice as he rested and restored his soul in the presence of God. Renowned missionary Mother Teresa also focused first on the most basic needs of the poor and frail while she prayed over them. In Christ's likeness, she understood the delicate and vital interplay between our physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual health, especially among the more compromised children of God. Strengthened and rested, Elijah then traveled to meet God on Mountain Horeb. God first asked Elijah what he was doing there, not for his benefit, but so Elijah could talk about what was frightening him to the point of irrationality. A biblical example of talk therapy. After Elijah told God all that was afflicting him, God told Elijah that he was coming. Elijah should look for him. God then came in a gentle whisper and let Elijah tell him everything he was going through again. God was okay with this. Sometimes it takes more than one telling to explain how desperate the situation has become. God's response to this? Go back. What? When we read this, when we think at first, we think that something must be wrong there. But when we continue to read, we see that God sent Elijah back home with everything he was missing. Direction, authority, a partner and successor in the good work, Elisha, people who would be faithful to God and obedient to Elijah, and reassurance of the Father's personal presence through it all. God didn't just heal Elijah, he heard him. God gave Elijah comfort, purpose, power, strength, protection, fellowship, and the renewed promise to never leave him. Best of all, he showed up. This passage illustrates vividly what every struggling person needs in times of life-threatening emotional crisis. Personalized care, a listening ear, mercy, guidance, a glimpse of the big picture, and the deep personal healing based in love and respect for our shared human condition. Even more importantly, suffering people need Christ to give them these things himself. When we let him, the great physician, heals us in every way we can be healed in his perfect timing, but look for professional help.